This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Cameron Wolfe. How you feeling, baby? How you doing?
Good.
You doing all right?
I'm good, man. Been a busy day. Just went and voted. Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to ask you who you voted for. Don't worry about it. Relax. It's all good. I will just tell everybody out there, Freed is for weed. All right. Anyway, here we go. We move on. Isn't that her slogan? No, that's not her slogan, Cam. I thought I saw that somewhere.
I don't think I knew that slogan, but I think I did vote for her. So,
Well, okay. Well, Freed is for weed. I mean, if you're going to vote for Nikki, you got to vote, Freed is for weed. I'm just telling you all out there, we passed 420 and everything right now. It's 447. I just want to warn you all out there for that. You know what I mean? Not that there's anything else that's important on the ballot, but just that. The Freed is for weed. That's all I'm just saying. Anyway. I thought light practice today, right? You could tell that they were getting ready for the Eagles over the next 2 days.
Yeah. You got a heavy slate of practices coming up next 2 days. You don't want to wear yourself out of here. It looked like they were doing kind of a lot of walkthrough stuff, so a lot of 7-on-7 stuff. So nothing super heavy. This is their last tune-up. McDaniel didn't say it today, but I don't expect many of their starters to play in the preseason game this week. So these last two practices will be really their main tune-up for their main guys going into the regular season. So yeah, you just treat these next 2 days as your final evaluation of what's going to be the core of your team, and then get ready for New England.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. The fourth cornerback spot, which by the way, it's actually, it's kind of funny that we're talking about, and we're also worried about the fourth cornerback spot. How many NFL teams really do they have like a fourth corner that's really good? You know what I mean?
Not many. Yeah. Corner depth, there's a few positions that rarely have depth in the league. O-line, rarely have depth in O-line. Quarterback depth is usually hard to find. And corners. That's usually the three positions that, to me, that have the weakest amount of depth. So yeah, fourth corners are hard. Like there's not a lot of great fourth corners out there. I will say fourth corners here is a little bit more important just because of the uncertainty of Byron Jones and the fact that he's coming off of a Achilles surgery, not torn, but a cleanup, and he hasn't been on the field since the end of the season. And so he hasn't been on the practice field at all. There's no signs yet that he'll be on the practice field this week. And so even if he is ready for week one, you're putting out a guy who has very, very limited reps. So there's a chance he's not going to be able to have the full workload, even if he's ready week one. So that guy is probably going to have to play more than a number 4 normally does. But beyond that, I don't think there's a lot of huge worry there unless somebody gets hurt.
All right, so I was going over this with Travis and Alf. We were going over this in the back. We were talking about this because I think that this is what's going on. First of all, do you think they're acting kind of calm and cool and collective about all of this? There's not really a lot of panic. It doesn't seem like you don't see them bringing in constantly corners and all that. There seems to be a level still of comfort of what they have there, right? It almost feels like that, right?
It does. Like yeah, it's interesting, particularly like I mentioned on the Byron situation. Like it would concern me, like naturally not having a player on the field on August 23rd who's going to be key. It's a huge issue, but they keep telling us that, they're optimistic. He should be ready. And so McDaniel hasn't lied to us yet. So you don't really have any reason to believe that he's lying yet. But just on the outside, that would worry me. But yeah, I think they do have belief in a guy like Keon Crossan that, he was signed probably to mostly be a special teams player, but he's been one of the highlights of camp. And so, ideally is he your fourth corner? Probably not, but they probably feel good in a pinch. They need him to be that role. He can play there. And like you mentioned, once you get beyond the fourth corner, it's usually just guys who are special teams players. And there's also, I'm sure there's a lot of back conversations going on with Chris Greer as far as, okay, are we going to make a trade for a player, a guy who may get cut on another team coming in on this team? Are we going to pick up a guy on waiver cut days that be our fifth corner? Those are all options on the board. And one thing like I will watch this week, like not that I have any super intel that it's going to happen, but the team they're playing this week for joint practices is very deep at corner. the Philadelphia Eagles. They have about 8 or 9 different corners that are legitimately competing for a spot. They traded late round picks for 3 different corners over the last year, and not all those guys are going to make the team. And so if you see a guy who looks good in practice, maybe Chris Greer just walks across the sideline and talks to Howie Roseman, the Eagles GM, and say,
a lot of deals have happened between them anyway.
Hey, I got one lightly used Myles Gaskin for you. Maybe you give me one of your lightly used corners, and we have a swap here. The Eagles also need a running back, so to me that's an easy swap. Trade a Gaskin or Ahmed or even a Sony Michel, one of the guys you feel like is on the bubble and may not make your team, and trade them for a corner. And that solves 2 issues to me. But I am not a GM. I'm just giving out suggestions if anybody cares. But I think the fact that, like you said, they're not bringing in corners constantly shows that, whether smart or not, they're confident in their internal development. We talked to a guy today, and Kader Kohou, if I'm pronouncing his name right, who's actually
Kader Kohou.
Kader Kohou. Thank you. Appreciate it. I haven't had to say his name.
And by the way, that was going to be my follow-up. That will be your 4th quarter.
Right.
He will pass
Keon Cross. Yeah, so him and Keon Crossen are probably your 4th and 5th if you started the season today. And honestly, you probably don't need to keep more. So I'd imagine those, like if season started today, I'd imagine them your 4th and 5th. And honestly, I know a lot of fans are probably not going to like it, but Noah's probably going to make the team. Even if he doesn't have
of course he is.
I think that he's a former first-round pick. And so if you do that, those are your 6 corners. And so you probably
the cap hit, they don't want to take that cap hit. They have to keep him one more year because they take like a $5 million, $6 million cap hit. They're not going to do that. They'll keep him one more year and allow Sam and Pat to work with him.
Right.
And then if they can't reach him at the end, they'll say, hey, dude, we tried. We got to move on.
Absolutely.
I think, let's be honest. Noah Igbenogany is now playing for a roster spot in 2023's training camp. Right. That's what his next goal is right now, because I don't know how he improves the rest of the way throughout the season. This window just closed on him.
We talked about it a bunch. This was his opportunity, this training camp, and he hasn't taken advantage of it, which, It is what it is. I mean, maybe there's an opportunity if somebody wants to trade a late round pick or a player for player deal, but you're never going to get full value for a guy you drafted in the 1st round. So I think at this point, you just gotta admit that this guy may not be a player in this league. And
all right, so now follow me on this.
Yep.
I think the comfort zone is this, and here's what I'm reading through the tea leaves and what I see right now, or what I see through the trees. Let's just say, okay, I think they're happy with their depth. Actually, I think that they think the Kader Kohou kid is actually going to become their 4th corner. They like him a lot. They paid him extra money out of Division II to bring him here. And he's already, since he got off the injured list, if you've watched him the last couple of practices and even in the game, he has made plays. He showed up again today. Right. So Kader has got a little something to him, and I think they found something there, and they like him. And then Crossen's your other guy, so you're about 5 deep. You add Noah as your 6th guy, so you're fine. 2, I think they are convinced on the character of their starting corner, that they know Byron is going to be back because he's a professional, because he takes care of his body, all of this. It reminds me a lot of when they signed Brent Grimes fresh off an Achilles injury. And why do you sign a guy like Brent Grimes off of an Achilles injury? Because Brent Grimes I'm talking about, okay? I'm not talking about his relationship or anything else off the field. I'm just talking about Brent Grimes. Brent Grimes is a rock solid human being, a pro's pro. So there are certain people that teams, coaches, GMs will give more leeway to, like Tom Brady. Oh, you need personal time? Yeah, dude, you're Tom Brady. You put us on the map. We won a Super Bowl and we went to the playoffs. Dude, you need a week or 10 days off? Go ahead. No problem. Anybody else? Get the hell out of here. Get your ass on the field. You know what I'm saying? Everybody earns something different. And so I think with Byron, they trust the individual, the professional, that he's going to be ready. Number 3, I think if they get in a pinch and there's an extra receiver on the field that's giving them a pain in the ass, I think Javon Holland comes in and cheats down, and he plays the slot, because he played the slot a lot in Oregon.
Right.
Okay. He plays every position. He can play corner. He can play safety. He'll play against the run. He'll cover anything. So I think they know they've got a very good cover safety that can also help them in a pinch. And if they need to move somebody else to go play center field, they'll do that instead and kind of play with it that way. So I think they feel they have options. They have flexibility. And I think they still feel like they have a young guy in Kader Kohou that a lot of people don't know, and they're going to end up getting to know him a little bit more as he grows into it. Because if you watch Kader, there's one thing you see about him that you don't see with Noah. That kid's aggressive, and that kid plays freely. He is not afraid. Like when he got burned by Tyreek yesterday. I mean, this morning, right? It was this morning, right? When he got burned by by Tyreek. It was one of those, like, you kind of, the kid was playing him close, and then Tyreek hit a gear that nobody has to.
Right. It's Tyreek Hill. Like,
it's
everybody is going to get beat by Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, everybody's going to be. So what are your thoughts on my theories on how I'm reading this right now?
No, I think you're probably going to a lot. I think one thing, just context-wise, the Dolphins love to mine UDFA corners. If you just look in their history, Nick Needham, 2019, a guy UDFA corner. They didn't get one in 2020 because they drafted him in the first round. Last year, it was Trill Williams, a guy who was going to be their fourth corner this year before he got hurt. And this year, Kader is probably the next guy. And so that's Josh Boyer's baby, their DC.
Yes.
If you talk to him, he will tell you the stories about Malcolm Butler, who the Patriots found out there and became a Super Bowl hero as a UDFA. J.C. Jackson, another player who just got a big $16 million contract a year with the Chargers, who was an undrafted free agent. So that's sort of the calling card. They love to find the scrappy, underdeveloped player and make him a player. And so I definitely think that he could be the next one there. And so, I think there's the reality of you have a guy that you can trust, and Keon Crossan, who does everything right, may not be the maximum physical ability, but he does everything right. And then you have a high upside guy behind your three pretty solid corners in X, Byron, and Nick Needham. And so that's honestly where you want to build. And so, I think there's probably a lot of internal optimism that, hey, we're not in as bad shape as everybody thinks we are. Now we're going to see, because it's still a bet. You're still betting on a guy who hasn't played above Division II football, but from what we've seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks, it seems like he can play in this league.
Yep. All right. One more thing before I let you go. You talked about running back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I always have fun with Dolphin fans because, some of them want to trade and sign everyone that becomes available.
Right.
All right. I'm sorry. The disease have fallen on me for a moment here.
Yep.
I personally, if I'm Chris Greer, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling Kenyon Drake's agent. And I'm saying, so you're going to become available. You're already making good money from the Raiders for the next 2 years because they're taking $7.6 million of cap hits over the next 2 years to get rid of you. So you're making some money. I don't have to offer you that much, but you know us. We know you. We love you. I'd bring Kenyon Drake and let go of Sony Michel. Sony Michel has barely played, and he's already injured. And this has kind of been his MO the entire time. You want to, he ran a little zone too in Arizona when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
So you add another fast guy to the backfield to go along with the other two guys. Your thoughts? Would you make a move for Kenyon Drake if you're the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, I don't see any issue with it. And the thing about Kenyon, and he alluded to it when he posted on social, I think at this stage of his career, different than when he was first here, he is not eager to be the guy. When he was first here, it bothered him that he would not get the opportunity to be the guy. They kept bringing in other people, whether it was Frank Gore, whether it was Kalen Ballage. He always had to share the load, and it's proven in his career that he hasn't shown to be a true feature back. He has to be a pairing with it. Well, now if you come here, you're in an offense with the coach who loves to have a share of different elements there. So I don't know if hopefully in his case he hasn't burned all the bridges. There's a lot of people who've left, but Chris Greer's still here. The running back coach Eric Studesville's still here. So I don't know what his personal relationship was with all those people.
Hey, dude, how do you screw up any relationship with Chris Greer? It
Well,
had to have been somebody else.
Clearly, Brian Flores and Chris Greer's relationship got screwed up. So.
Well, but that's Brian Flores. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blaming. My point is, if you have a problem with Chris Greer, I'm looking at you, not at Chris Greer. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like Hal Habib. Who in the world could ever dislike Hal? Right. How can you not get along with Hal?
Yep.
Hal is gold, bro. He's just like an incredibly decent human being. Easy to get along with. Anybody that ever walks up to me and says, "Oh, that Hal Habib's an asshole," I'm going to say, "No, you're the effing asshole," okay? Because I know Hal. Nobody has trouble with that guy. So for me, Chris Greer is that guy. It's like, it's like, really? You had problems with Chris Greer? Then you got issues. Do you know it was with Chris Greer or not? Do you know? Did you know if he had a problem with Chris Greer?
I do not know. I'm just, like I said, that's the only thing that would hold that up if there is there. So, and the other thing about Kenyon, like if you're looking at him at this stage, he's been a kick returner in his past. And so maybe bringing in a guy like Kenyon Drake takes some pressure off of your other stars that I don't like the idea of using them as a returner.
No, they don't have one.
Right.
They don't have one.
Well, they've been using like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
They don't have one because you don't want to use those guys. That's my point. Outside of the
Holland
bombs,
I don't like the idea of that either.
Right. Outside of the two nuclear bombs, who else are you going to use a return that you love right now?
Yeah. I mean, Preston Williams, he's probably not going to make the team.
Yeah. No, I don't even like him as a returner that much.
Right.
I'm talking about dude, like there is not a returner. Wow, I forgot about the returns for Kenyon Drake. That's a great call.
So he hasn't been a punt returner recently, but he has been a kick returner. So he could definitely fill that role. I'm sure he could learn I'm sure he's done punt return. He just hadn't done a lot recently. And I know for a fact that he enjoys Miami as a city. And he had some fond memories when he came back here where he's kind of reminiscent. You remember the last big thing he had here, the Miami Miracle. Yeah. And so although it didn't have a great career here per se, I don't see any issue with the reunion there. My only issue with the running back room, and this is why I think the Sony Michel thing is
I know the thumper
really working out so far. Who's going to do the short yardage? It's not Raheem Mostert. Maybe
Alec Ingold, baby. Yeah. Alec Ingold. That's it. Unload, man.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. So because Kenyon's not going to run the short yardage
either.
You have
Hunter Long play fullback. And Alec as the short yardage guy, and that's it. You come up with or what's the name of the big lineman? We put Hunt in front of Alec Ingold. Oh baby, the elephant front. It's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
I want Hunter Long to focus on playing tight end good before.
Yeah. No, I was wrong.
Position.
No. It's not Hunt. It's Wilkins, isn't it? It's Wilkins that played fullback.
So Wilkins, yes, but Robert Hunt caught that pass on Thursday Night Football.
I want a fullback. So are we going Wilkins?
Yeah. So Wilkins comes in as a fullback. Yes.
Okay, so Wilkins.
But he hasn't carried the ball. He's just been as a blocker.
I just want him blocking for Alec Ingold.
You don't want him blocking for the blocking fullback?
Yeah. Think about that. How in the hell are you not going to get your yard?
Yeah.
You'll get those 2 yards like easy with those two guys right there, bro.
Yeah.
They'll think that Moses was standing on the other side, just opening it up and partying or something like that. That's all.
Yeah.
But
you're right. I guess Alec Ingold could end up taking that short yardage. Usually you don't use your fullback all the time as that role, but McDaniel loves fullbacks, and Alec Ingold has been a good fullback in his career, so maybe he takes a bigger part of that. So
there you go. See, I came up with some stuff with Holland coming in, helping out in coverage, you know, a little Kenyon Drake action, and now we've got Wilkins and Ingold on short yardage kicking people's ass. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, McDaniel used to hire offensive analyst, right? You know,
that's it. Where's my job? Let's go. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. Catch his work there at the NFL Network. See, I no longer screw up the network thing anymore, huh?
Yeah. Not
I haven't screwed up anymore.
NFL Network. So
us old people, it takes a while for us to get going, and then we're.
I still run into a lot of people that consider me ESPN. It's gonna take a couple years for it to fully sink in.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. All right, and catch him twice a week. You're doing his thing with our KSDT CPA, Miami Dolphins and NFL Report. As always, Cam, thank you, my brother. We will. I'll see you tomorrow at practice.
Absolutely. See you out there.
You got it. There you go. Cameron Wolfe. Yes, sir. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed. Hour number 2 is done. Hour number 3 is next. Manny Navarro starts it off.
This is the big